What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. Iron Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion, was on Fight Hype earlier today. And the interviewer asked him about the update on his fight, a possible fight with Evander Real Deal Holyfield. And Mike Tyson said it's on, like a pot of neck bone. It's going down. Reports surfaced yesterday that might not take place, as Holyfield was demanding $25 million and had yet to get a response from Mike Tyson. But Mike Tyson said it's just a little bit of paperwork got to get done, and basically he's got to dot the I's and cross the T's, and the fight will happen. The trilogy between Iron Mike Tyson versus Evander Real Deal Holyfield. Now, Mike Tyson also said that he's trying to make this fight happen between him and Holyfield on a one-on-one basis in the business room as well as in the boxing ring. He doesn't want no promoters involved in this situation. He said the promoters are basically overrated cheerleaders. They're out here in front of these cameras, in front of these microphones, saying how great the fight is and how great these fighters are and this, that, and the third. Say we don't need that. Cut the middleman out and let's just work me and him and make this fight happen. Mike Tyson has learned a lot from boxing, especially the business of boxing. Working, getting promoted by legendary promoter Don King taught him a lot of lessons that he's now implementing in his later life about not letting these greedy promoters get their hands in the cookie jar and take their fighters' money that they have no business taking. Taking more than what they should be taking, getting a percentage of the fighters' purses that they shouldn't be getting because they're not taking any punches. They're not throwing any jabs, not throwing any right hands, not throwing any left hooks, not throwing any uppercuts. They're out there, basically, like Tyson said, being an overrated cheerleader, and they could be eliminated from this particular situation. He said not to say that it's anything bad about promoters. He's not coming down on any promoters. He said there's a lot of promoters he met that have been good guys in general. But it's just, at this point in his career, he said he wish he would probably learn this lesson early in his career. He doesn't need a promoter to promote this fight. And this fight is going to promote itself, man. You got the two biggest names in boxing back in the late 80s, early 90s. They had two fights. It seems that Evander Holyfield has Mike Tyson's number. His style is tailor-made for Mike Tyson's style, which is a come-forward, aggressive style. And Holyfield being that classic counter-puncher, willing to time Mike Tyson coming in. And he seems to get the best of Tyson in both fights, as he defeated him soundly in the first fight, and it was on his way to beating him in the second fight before headbutts and ear bites, colored that fight and put that fight in a whole nother light and put another black eye in the sport of boxing. And it was a sad thing to see. But hopefully this fight here that's going down probably in the spring, late spring or early summer of 2021, the fight is... Now, we don't know where it's going to take place or who's going to be putting on this fight, as it's been known by recent reports that Mike Tyson is in a dispute with Triller. He's saying Triller is trying to, stick their hands in the cookie jar of what he's trying to be independent on. That's the Legends League. He wants to promote that independently. He don't want to have that anything to do. He basically said he's been partnering with Triller to put on the Roy Jones fight, but he wanted to start his own Legends League outside of what he had going on with Triller. And that seems to be creating some problems behind the scene. Hopefully they can work that out. So it remains to be seen if this fight will be on Triller. Triller night. We'll see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But the fight is on. And the recent videos I've seen of Evander Holyfield sparring, hitting the heavy bag, this guy is slow as molasses. So I expect Mike Tyson to be a heavy favorite in this fight. Maybe the odds makers will have revisionist history, be looking back at the last two fights, and maybe they might put Holyfield as a favorite, or maybe Mike Tyson as a small favorite. But I'm telling you right now, when those odds come out, I'm putting all my money on on Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson still has some explosiveness. He still has some quickness to him. Not as quick as explosive he was in his heyday, but he still has much more explosiveness, much more hand speed than Holyfield. From what I've seen in the recent videos of him hitting the heavy bag and him sparring, man, he looks real slow. But the one thing about it, man, he can take a punch, and that chin seems to be the last thing to go. Look at the great Muhammad Ali in his last couple of fights. His skills had diminished at a high level, but he was still able to take those punches and still didn't get knocked out. He took a beating from Larry Holmes. He took another beating from Trevor Berbick, but he never got knocked out in any of those fights because he still had that granite chin. And maybe Holyfield can take those shots from Mike Tyson and be able to not get knocked out or get stopped in this fight. Now, hopefully this fight will be a little bit more of a fight than the Mike Tyson-Roy Jones Jr. fight, which Mike Tyson was going to the body, but he was not really taking any kind of headshots to Roy Jones. Roy Jones did a lot of grabbing. Roy Jones survived that fight. I thought Mike Tyson won it. They said it was a draw. So it was one of those exhibitions where they didn't want to announce a loser. They just wanted to let everybody have see these legends in the ring again after all these years. And this basically was a nostalgia type of thing for a lot of people that was involved in that event. Hopefully this fight, due to the rivalry of these two guys, Mike Tyson and Holyfield, and the competitiveness of these two guys, hopefully this will be more of a real fight. Maybe use 13, 14, or even 15-ounce gloves, and these guys are going there to win, throwing punches at the head and to the body. Hopefully that'll be the case, which wasn't the case in the Mike Tyson-Roy Jones exhibition that took place, what was that, 3 or 4 months ago. We'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts. Who you like in this fight, Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield? I like Tyson to win this fight by unanimous decision over Evander Holyfield. Let me know your thoughts. If it's a real fight, if they let these guys actually throw headshots. I like Mike Tyson over Evander Holyfield by unanimous decision. I believe it'll be an 8-round fight just like the Mike Tyson-Roy Jones exhibition was. Let me know your thoughts and hit the like button if you like the content of this video, and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.